It has been over 3 months since we have said our painful goodbyes to the dearly departed. For the past 3 months, the mainstream media career of the artist formerly known as Weave has been quietly laying to rest in the woke cemetery. Initially, when the news broke in early February that MSNBC was firing Joy Reid, a lot of people were shocked. Of course, regular viewers of this channel weren't surprised because Uncle KC had been predicting this for months. Rachel Maddow, better known to friends and family as Rob, she expressed her fake outrage towards her primary subsidizers at MSNBC. "This is so racist! First they took away her weave, then they reduced her woke welfare, and now the evil white man has fired Joy Reid. I am outraged!" Since Rachel Maddow was complaining about the lack of diversity when it came to who MSNBC was firing, since Rob was complaining about people of color losing their jobs, MSNBC decided to do the right thing. They balanced the diversity scales by firing Rachel Maddow's entire staff. It's been over 3 months since MSNBC fired Joy Reid. 3 months since she rode her broom for the final time. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes Uncle KC misses the wicked weave. As you guys know, the weave has clearly been missing the head of Joy Reid for months. But the weave is not the only thing that's missing. As you're about to see, her hair is rapidly disappearing too. With our bundle of joy no longer having the resources for proper nutrition, her receding hairline has been starving, and it's been surviving by consuming the remaining hair. Joy Reid has been given almost 4 months to find a new job. Remember when CNN fired Chris Cuomo? "Hey, it's me, Chrissy C!" When Chrissy lost his job at CNN and he was unemployed for damn near a full year, Chris Cuomo was promoting himself as the biggest free agent in media. He was sitting by the phone just waiting for someone to call. My inside sources told me that AT&T eventually discontinued Chris Cuomo's service due to inactivity. But right now, Joy Reid's in a similar position. She wakes up every morning unemployed. She wakes up every morning with nothing to do. This is a terrifying time for the artist formerly known as Weave. We have seen what happens to former employees in the business of mythical racism after they lose the jobs in media they were given based on qualifications of diversity. Bomani Jones, Jamel Hill, Tiffany Cross. You know what they have in common besides being nominated for the Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards? They're all former employees in the business of mythical racism who never worked again in the mainstream media. Hell, it's been almost a decade since Smelly Jamelli had a meaningful job in the media. With that being the case, you would think Joy Reid would be taking this opportunity to make herself appealing. She would be taking this opportunity to change. One of the reasons that she was fired by MSNBC was because she couldn't draw ratings in the 25 to 54 demo. One of the main reasons that she struggled in that demo was because of her twisted ideology and obsession with mythical racism. But instead, the wicked weave goes on TikTok yesterday morning and she unleashes another unhinged rant against the Trumper where she accuses him of mythical racism because he's solving the immigration problem. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Praetorian Consulting. Over the last 4 years with Johnny B. Biden, we were living with a regime that wanted us completely reliant on the government, when the reality is, We should be as self-reliant and autonomous as possible. I'm sure you guys have heard that saying, when seconds count, the police are minutes away. The police are a reactionary force, which means the safety of your family is in your hands when it matters the most. Same is true for emergency situations like car accidents. You got to be prepared, and that's where Praetorian Consulting steps in. Praetorian Consulting offers a full suite of emergency planning services and tailor-made packages designed to meet any concerns in your life. Whether it's protecting your digital privacy on your phone or computer, or medical emergencies at home or on the road, home defense, communications, Praetorian Consulting offers the products and expertise that will have you relying on yourself when it matters most. Daniel, the owner of Praetorian Consulting, he's a former Marine who has spent his entire career identifying and mitigating risk. He knows what he is talking about. So click the link in the description below. Become self-reliant with Praetorian Consulting today. You know, this has got to be an embarrassing time for Joy Reid. Just think about this epic fall from grace. The Weave went from the pinnacle of the mainstream media. She went from hosting a show in prime time on MSNBC, where every night she was given a plethora of choices for hairstyles: red, green, purple, fuchsia, short hair, long hair. Of course, most nights, Joy Reid selected the blonde comb-over so she could emulate the object of her obsession, Donnie Trump. Eventually, due to declining ratings and revenue, MSNBC had to decrease the budget, and the Wicked Weave became the artist formerly known as Weave. The beautician was replaced with a barber who did the best he could with the limited hair available. But that's okay. That's okay. Joy Reid was still hosting a show in primetime cable news until February, when she was fired by MSNBC. And now, Joy Reid went from the pinnacle of cable news, where she was hosting a show that no one was watching, to uploading videos where she's playing the role of the deranged lunatic on TikTok, and no one is watching. She wasn't attracting a younger demo at MSNBC, so I guess Joy Reid decided to upload to the platform that the kids are watching. And the kids are still rejecting Joy Reid. The other day, our bundle of joy uploaded her latest video on TikTok. If you thought Joy Reid was struggling to draw an audience on MSNBC, those struggles are nothing compared to her struggles on TikTok. At MSNBC, at least there were a few flies flying around the turd. The turds on TikTok are unbothered for so long they are starting to turn white, which I'm sure upsets Joy Reid since she seems to be allergic to anything white. Video opens with Joy Reid sitting in a car. I was confused because I thought Joy Reid was worried about climate change. Why would she be sitting in a dangerous car that's responsible for releasing toxic chemicals into the environment? But then I remembered that MSNBC confiscated her broom when they fired her. Joy Reid unleashed an unhinged tirade where she complains about the Trumper removing illegal immigrants. Basically, Joy Reid is complaining about the Trumper doing exactly what he said he was going to do. She is complaining about him doing what John Biden and cackling Cam Harris refused to do. Watch for yourself.
Snatching people off of the street and throwing them into gray vans and disappearing them across the country so that you can find a way to ship them out of the country to gulags in El Salvador or in Equatorial Guinea or Syria because you don't like their color or their ideology or things that they've written or op-eds they've written. That's not politics. Banning books, not politics. Stripping Black history from every federal website and program, and stripping women's history and LGBTQ history, and making Black, brown, women, any people who are not white men disappear. That's not politics. These things are not politics. This is something other than politics. It's something deeper and more frightening than politics. Project 2025 is not politics. It is a wholesale takeover of the country by a fascist ideology that is attempting to raise white Christian men, white conservative Christian men to be specific, to a higher tier than every other kind of person, and to push out as many brown people as possible.
Haven't you missed this? Haven't you missed the nightly musings of a maniac? Clearly, Joy Reid has learned nothing. Clearly, Joy Reid has not learned that people are no longer believing propaganda. The Trumper's not removing people based on their color. He's removing people based on their status, not their financial status, not their gender or racial status. He's removing based on their immigration status. The policy is quite simple to understand. Are you here legally? If the answer is no, your ass is going to be deported. Have you guys noticed that we never hear anything about the border anymore? Have you noticed that? From 2021 through 2024, we were seeing live shots of the southern border every day. Fox News would show Sanchez and Maria walking their lovely children across the border. Sometimes we would see dudes carrying what MSNBC would describe as luggage. I'm sure it was just clothes, maybe a toothbrush, shampoo and conditioner so they could wash their hair in the river. I'm sure there was nothing illegal in their luggage. Trumper's been in the White House for last 4 months? Since late January, we have barely heard anything about the southern border. I wonder why. In the midst of her musings on Russian collusion and false accusations of fascism, Joy Reid also accused Donnie of erasing history. According to Joy Reid, the Trumper is responsible for erasing Black history and LGBTQ history. She didn't mention the ++ or @ sign, but I'm sure she'll accuse Donnie of erasing their history in her next upload. But she exposed the real reason for her disdain for the Trumper towards the end of the clip. Joy Reid spoke for almost 5 minutes, but it took less than 10 seconds for the real reason to be exposed. Joy Reid is concerned that America is being taken over by white Christian men. And that is what this is all about. That is the enemy, according to Joy Reid. You know, Joy Reid reminds me of the star athlete who has passed his prime, but he can't let go of his career. For years, Joy Reid was able to draw an audience based on stories of mythical racism. The gimmick worked well for a little while, but like all gimmicks, time eventually ran out. It became stale. Once the gimmick of fake racism was exposed, Joy Reid was required to rely on actual talent to draw an audience. And this is the end result. She wasn't able to pivot. She wasn't able to let it go. And now there's nothing left for Joy Reid to hold on to because she doesn't have an audience. Give me your thoughts on this. An epic fall from grace for Joy Reid. She goes from no one watching her on MSNBC in prime time to literally no one watching her on TikTok. But she is still spreading the same propaganda. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.